The Grandwood Hotel stood as a dark, imposing monolith on the edge of a desolate town. With its decaying grandeur and empty halls, it had earned a sinister reputation, particularly Room 13. Guests often whispered about its cursed history, a room that had seen madness and tragedy beyond imagination. When Richard Harker checked in on a stormy night, he had no knowledge of the room's grim reputation. The front desk clerk handed him the brass key with a solemn look, but Richard paid it no heed. He had been on a long and tiring journey, seeking refuge from the relentless rain and thunder outside. He merely wanted a night's rest. As Richard entered room 13, he couldn't help but notice the air felt heavier, laden with history and sorrow. The faded wallpaper clung to the walls as if it was reluctant to let go. He shivered, but attributed it to the cold draft seeping through the cracks in the window. The night passed restlessly, with strange noises and whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. Richard woke to flickering shadows dancing on the ceiling and the distinct sensation of being watched. It was as though the room itself was sentient, an entity that resented intruders. As he attempted to return to sleep, the clock on the wall struck midnight, and that's when it all began. A figure, dark and indistinct, appeared at the foot of his bed. Richard's heart pounded in his chest as he strained to make out its features. The apparition seemed to waver in and out of existence, like a mirage in the night. It beckoned him, its voice a haunting whisper that echoed in his mind. "Help me," it pleaded, the words carrying an unbearable weight of despair. In a daze, Richard followed the figure as it moved silently towards a concealed door in the corner of the room. It led to a hidden passage, the secrets of which had long been forgotten. The air grew colder, and the walls seemed to close in on him, as if he had been transported to a nightmare from which he couldn't escape. The passage led him to a dark, musty chamber, where he saw a blood-stained mattress and restraints hanging from the walls. His breath caught in his throat as he realized the room's sinister purpose. It had been a place of unspeakable torment, a place where the hotel's dark secrets were hidden away. The apparition pointed to a tattered journal, its pages yellowed with age, resting on a dusty table. Richard picked it up and began to read the horrifying accounts of a madman who had once been a guest in room 13. The journal chronicled his descent into madness, his violent outbursts, and his horrifying delusions. The entries ended abruptly, with a chilling message scrawled in blood-red ink. "It watches me, it wants to escape." Richard dropped the journal in horror, and when he turned around, the apparition was gone. He stumbled back to his room, shaken and terrified. The clock on the wall struck midnight once more, and he realized he was trapped in a nightmarish loop. Night after night, the same sequence of events played out, each time with a new piece of the chilling puzzle. The apparition's desperate plea echoed in his mind, and the room's dark history seemed to seep into his very being. Richard was losing his grip on reality, his sanity slipping away as the malevolent force of room 13 tightened its grip. Desperation and fear consumed him, and he began to investigate the room's history. He uncovered long-forgotten newspaper articles that told of the hotel's sordid past, a history of murder and madness. Room 13 had been a place where the most troubled and dangerous guests were confined, a room that had witnessed unspeakable horrors. With each new revelation, Richard felt the malevolent presence in the room grow stronger. It seemed to revel in his torment, feeding on his fear and despair. The room had become a prison of his own making, a nightmare from which he could not escape. As he delved deeper into the room's dark past, Richard uncovered a shocking truth. The apparition was not a vengeful spirit, but the tormented soul of a former guest, a victim of the room's dark history. It had been trapped in a nightmarish loop, just like Richard. Determined to break free from the room's grip, Richard made a chilling discovery. Hidden beneath the floorboards, he found a worn and weathered key, the key to room 13's hidden secrets. With a trembling hand, he unlocked the concealed door in the corner of the room and ventured into the hidden passage once more. The passage led him to a secret chamber where a mirror stood, its glass dark and foreboding. The reflection that gazed back at him was twisted and malevolent, a distorted version of himself. The apparition appeared at his side, its eyes filled with sorrow. "Break the curse," it whispered, its voice a faint echo of despair. With a surge of determination, Richard shattered the mirror, releasing a blinding light that consumed the room. The malevolent presence that had haunted room 13 for so long was finally vanquished. When Richard awoke, he found himself in the comfort of another room, far removed from the horrors of room 13. He knew that he had broken free from the nightmarish loop, but the room's dark history would forever haunt him. The Grandwood Hotel remained a place of secrets and despair, a place where the past and present were forever intertwined, a place where the malevolent force of room 13 would continue to seek new victims to ensnare in its nightmarish grip.